Hello everyone, we are from Group 5. So today we will present our material about regional and social variation. And this is our group members, uh, Anastasia Amanda, it's me, and Tri, and Bakdiyatul, and also Erlina. So first, we'll start with the introduction of regional variation. So according to Patent 1980, Chambers and Churchill 1998, 1977, the mapping of regional dialect had a long history in linguistics. In fact, it is a well-established part of the study of how language changed over time, that is, of diachronic or historical linguistics. This linguistic study is known as dialect geography, which employed assumptions and methods drawn from historical linguistics, and many of its results have been used to confirm findings drawn from other historical sources. For example, archaeological findings, population studies, and written records. In this view, language differentiates internally as speakers distance themselves from one another over time and space. The change result in the creation of dialects of the language. The resulting dialects might become new languages as the resulting varieties become unintelligible to one another. So Latin became French in France. So Latin became French in France, Spanish in Spain, Italian in Italy, and so on. So the first part of regional variation, which is mapping dialects. There are three terms that we need to highlight it. The first one is dialect atlas. The second one is isogloss, and the third one is dialect boundary. So first, I'm going to explain about the dialect atlas. Dialect atlases. So what is dialect atlases? Well, dialect geographers have traditionally attempted to reproduce their findings on maps in what they call dialect atlases. So basically, dialect atlases is the result of dialect geography reproduced by dialect geographers. Then they try to show the geographical boundaries of the distribution of a particular linguistic feature by drawing a line on a map. And this is leads us to the second term, uh, isogloss. The geographical boundaries of the distribution of a particular linguistic feature by drawing a line on a map, and such a line is called an isogloss. On one side of the line, people say something one way, for example, pronounce "pat" with the first vowel of father, and on the other side, they use some other pronunciation, for example, the vowel of cat. Quite often, when the boundaries for different linguistic features are mapped in this way, the isoglosses, the isoglosses show a considerable amount of crisscrossing. This is lead us to the third term in mapping dialects, which is dialect boundary. On occasion, though, a number coincide, there is a bundle of isogloss. So in mapping dialects, there is a bundle of isogloss, and this bundle is often said to dialect boundary. And this is the main kinds of isogloss. The first term here is isolex, which separates lexical items, and the example is nunch versus nanchon. I'm sorry if I mispronounce the words. Isomorph, which separates morphological features. And the example is dive versus dove. And the third term is isophone, which separates the features. For example, put versus put. And the fourth term is isosim, which separates semantic features. And the example is dinner. Dinner in the midday meal, the evening meal. And the second point of regional variation will be delivered by my friend.
Okay, so I will explain about methods in dialectology. Sampling methods were based on assumption about who representative speakers of dialects were. For example, focus was almost exclusively on rural area, which were regarded as conservative in the sense that they were seen to preserve older forms of the languages under investigation. Urban areas were acknowledged to be innovative, unstable linguistically, and difficult to approach using existing survey techniques. Next, please. Okay, so this is the second explanation about methodology. So another methodological issue involves basics ideas about language. The data collection methodology often used in earlier dialects geography studies assumes that individual speakers do not have variation in their speech. For example, the word pub refer to carbonated beverages, hence they will not use soda to refer the same thing. Next. Okay, the third one, methodology according to the survey addressed to Linguistic Atlas of United States and Canada. The analysis was partly intended to find out how speech related to social class, but speech was itself used as one of the criteria for assigning membership in a social class. Informants are divided by three types. Type 1, little formal education, little reading, and restricted social context. Type 2, better formal educations, usually in high school, wider reading and social context. And the type 3, superior formal education such as college, culture background, and wide reading and extensive social context. Next. Next will be explained by my friend.
Okay, my name is Erlina Maulida R. I'm going to explain about dialect mixture and free variation. First of all, I want to define the dialect itself. So the dialect means variety of language spoken by a group of people that is systematically different from other varieties in both structure and lexical features. So what about dialect mixture means? So it's individuals who speak one way on one occasion and other ways on other occasions. And this kind of variation can be seen to occur within even the most localized groups. The next is free variation. Is the existence of in one locality of two or more dialects which allow a speaker or speakers to draw now on one dialect and then on the other. The next slide. So here there is linguistic athletics. There have been some recent developments in linguistic atlas work which hold promise for future discoveries. They result largely from our growing ability to process and analyze large quantities of linguistic data. For example, first there is Summer in 1996. His work called Linguistic Atlas of the Middle and South Atlantic States. He shows use quantitative methods to demonstrate the probability of occurrence of specific words or sounds in specific areas. Second, there is Lepov, ETAL in 2005, in his Atlas of North American English, uh, from his speech in 348, there is said regional dialects are getting stronger and more diverse as language change is continuing, and that the structural divisions between them are very sharp, with very tight bundling of the isocrates. Third, there is Plan in 2002. Uh, he used a variety of economic, demographic, and social data from 3,797 residents of Tiburon, Denmark, covering the years 1890 until 1996 to reveal how the local dialect is the result of a constant situation that led to the formation of a new dialect as a result of massive immigration. Fourth, and the last is Gordon ETAL in 2004 and 4. He using traditional dialect materials to help us account for current language varieties in recent writings on new English. So the next slide will be explained by my friend.
All right, thank you, Erlina. So my name is Bakdiyatul M with the last trace to the number 003. Here, I would like to talk about social variations, especially about social class membership. So one factor which has been prominent in sociolinguistic studies of variation is social class membership. So social class, basically, social class determine people's dialect variation, and people's dialect could help us identify their membership of certain social class. But some problematic issues that occur here. First one, this one is discussed by Milroy and Garden in 2008. So the problems that may occur, first, as a concept, it combines economic aspects with status ones. This creates particular difficulty when we try to make comparisons across communities. As a university professor, for example, may have a very different type of status as well as economic standing in one community when compared to another. Another issue has to do with mobility between social classes. Again, we see variation in this across societies, with mobility being greater in, for example, the United States than in the United Kingdom. Next. So in we need a way to determine the social class of particular speakers. So sociologists use a number of different skills for classifying people when they attempt to place individuals somewhere within a social system. Here, the one that is kind of the most known one, in early study of linguistic in England, Churchill in 1977 distinguishes 5 social classes. There are middle class, lower middle class, upper working class, middle working class, and lower working class, as you can see on the screen. Churchill interviewed 10 speakers from each of 5 electoral wards in Norwich, plus 10 school-age children from 2 schools. The 60 informants were then classified on 6 factors. 6 classifying factors that is used are occupation, education, income, type of housing, locality, and father's occupation. And we have to note that any categorization of speakers into social class categories must be done with certain caution and careful attention, because we have to considering about problems that may occur because of this categorization, because of this generalization that we have mentioned before. Next.
Okay, this is the last section, social networks. According to Milroy in 1987, found that it was the network of relationship that an individual belong to that exert the most powerful and interesting influences on that individual's linguistic behavior. When the group of speakers being investigated show little variation in social class, however, that is defined a study of the networks of social relationship within the group may allow you to discover how particular linguistic usage can be related to the frequency and density of certain kind of contacts among speakers. Network relationship, however, tend to be unique in a way that social class categories are not. Okay, next. Thank you for listening and hope this presentation will be beneficial. Thank you.